It's about 8:30 in the morning on this wonderful December 3rd, Saturday. December 3rd, yeah. Ugh. There's no grass here. It's green. It's the tiniest grass you ever did see. There's just really not much here. And I'm debating whether to give them food this morning. I'll feed them this night. Maybe I'll give them a little extra. Maybe a bucket or two. Anyway, yeah, this is winter in Texas. It's depressing. So somebody asked why I don't have hay. Well, it goes like this. We're in this thing called a drought. We're no longer in a drought. Last year and this year, we did not get rain when we needed it. Last year in the winter time, we didn't get much rain at all. I don't know if you guys can hear me because the wind is blowing. Let me just kind of face this way. There's not as much wind. Last year, we did not get rain in the winter. We got a little bit of rain in the spring, and we had a little bit of spring growth, but that was it. And we had a little bit of growth in this year's spring. You guys want to watch the cows? Let me stand over here so you can watch the cows. My wife is feeding the sheep. Anyway, so what happened was last year, it stopped raining after about July. It just stopped. We didn't get any rain at all. And November, December came, we got a little bit of rain. And then January, February, March came, we got some rain. April, we got some rain. But then the summer came early and it came strong. And so the spring grass never really got to where it was supposed to be, and quickly dried out in my pasture. And people that did hay, they cut that for hay. That's the only hay cutting they got this year. No, some people got a second cutting. The summer was hot, it was dry, it didn't rain until the tail end of August. We got 5 inches of rain. If you go back on my videos, you'll see the pond was empty. There's no water in the pond. And the 5 inches came, and then we got a little bit of pond back, and then it started to dry up again. And so finally, we're at the stage where we're no longer in drought, where we've gotten enough rain that the ground has been able to soak it up again. But what killed the summer grass wasn't the lack of rain. It was the fact that there was no water underground. The previous summer wasn't too bad without the rain. It wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad because the grass was able to tap into the reserves under the ground. But after a year of not getting rain in the winter, the summer grass just didn't grow this summer. And you dig down in the ground, it was just dust for like feet. And I didn't have any strong grasses established that could access the water that was even deeper than a few feet down. Remember, I've only been doing this for a year and 3 months. So we're still in the startup phase. I'll just kind of walk out to the pasture just to show you what I got in the future here. When I bought this field, the previous owner did a good job, but his management technique is different than the one I want to do. And so I'm resetting everything here. So he would use herbicides and pesticides, and he would use fertilizers. And that's pretty much what most people are doing around here. And it makes a lot of sense to do it that way. It really does. You know, a little bit of cost in the herbicide, chemical department yields a lot of results, especially when you're raising cows. And he was trying to raise, top-notch Angus cows. So he was building the field to suit the cows rather than the other way around. And he did do rotational techniques. The rotational techniques do work, and they do it. Was he doing daily rotations? No. But he would move them from pasture to pasture. I mean, it's obvious. Just keeping the cows in the same spot while eating their poo is just not a good idea. So everybody moves their cows. So my goal was to try to replicate what Greg Judy did. And knowing full well that it took him years before he started to see a return on his investment. And so, am I disappointed with the results so far? Well, yeah. I mean, I wish I had grass that was 4 feet high right now. I wish I had, too much grass and not enough cows. But that's an unrealistic expectation. Number one, I've never done this before, so I don't know what I'm doing. And number two is, it takes time for the ground to heal. I mean, look at this. See, that's a good 4 to 6 inches of grass right there. I need a whole pasture that looks like that. And more, right? So it's going to take time. I'm documenting. Please do not watch these videos and say, oh, Jonathan Gardner said to do this, I'm going to do that. No, don't do that. That's a bad idea. I'm just documenting what's happening. So if you said, hey, he did this and this happened, maybe it can happen for me if I do something similar, go for it. But do not take anything I'm saying as gospel, because I am the novice of novice, amateur of amateurs. I was a programmer before this. I could tell you all about computers. I don't know anything about cows, and I still don't know very much about cows. And I do rely on the advice of people that are kind enough to give me advice in an industry where people don't give each other advice because it's rude, So anyway, this is what they're looking forward to in January. Now, in terms of what have I done to the field? Well, the cows rotation almost every day. It's a couple weeks where I didn't. That's number one. Number two is I did put a bunch of lime down. The lime and phosphorus, I think phosphorus is the one Greg Judy puts down too, in dead pastures. And I think the lime did something. It's kind of hard to tell because, last year was so bad, or this year was so bad. But I put the lime down about a year and a half ago. No, a year and a month ago. See, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty decent, right? It's okay. It's not great. If I wanted to feed the cows in this, I'd have to give them the whole row in a day. Anyway, the real challenge next is, so Greg Judy, his story, he started out kind of like this, he was putting a lot of money into his cows, he wasn't getting a lot out, right? You just don't make money with cows, but he's like, no, I want to do this anyway. And so he found this rotational technique, and he did it for several years, and he started to see results, and then he had to get rid of his cows and buy a completely new breed of cow. That's why I'm over here now, because honestly the truth is, at some point I might have to replace my cows with cows that can do this, because it's if you put the wrong cow with the wrong technique, it's not going to perform well, and so that's my situation. Is eventually I have to make that decision about whether to go with the breed that Greg Judy uses, another breed, whether I start my own breed, start an aggressive eugenics program where I cull the cows that just don't perform. I think I want Longhorn in my cows. I think I do. A little bit of Longhorn at least. Definitely Angus. Maybe some Brahman. I want to see if I can get some Wagyu in there. I don't know if Wagyu will do well at all in this kind of environment. I know that people raise Wagyu in Texas, but I don't know if they do it this way. And if you can't do Wagyu this way, then I don't want Wagyu. Maybe I'll do experiments. I'll bring in different crossbreeds and see what happens. I don't know. But anyway, this is a year and a half. Am I doing better than my neighbors? I think the answer is yes-ish. With major caveats and stars. The grass is doing better. The cows are not. Any way I look at it, my cows are not doing better. I did kind of starve the cows a little bit. I wanted to see how far they can go, and well, now I know. So I need to go feed them to keep them going. Next year, what will it look like? I don't know. If next year, if we get the rain that we're supposed to get, which checking the rainfall cycles in this area, after a drought, the rain slowly builds up over the years until you get massive rains and then another drought. And the year before the drought, indeed, we had lots of rain, too much rain. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think I might have too many cows for this ground. Will I have too many cows for next year's ground? I don't think so. I think next year it'll be fine. This feeding is temporary, and maybe next year, if I come to winter with no hay, I'm gonna have hay next year. There's no way, unless we get another drought. In which case we'll do feed again. All right, so that's the story on the hay. That's the story on the pasture and the experiment. I'm gonna be here for years. Even if it doesn't work out this year or next year, I'll keep going. It's an investment of time and energy. It's a small investment of money. I really don't spend that much on the cows now that I have all the fencing up. I don't see any future expenses, except maybe feed and hay. I forget how much I spent on hay when I first got the cows, but it was $40 a bale back then, which I know sounds insane, but that was the price. I think it'll get back there, somewhere around there. And I think I bought 60 bales of hay. I think I'll buy 80. Mostly because hay on the pasture is good, and I can see that it's good. So I'll buy 80 bales of hay, and always keep at least 20 on hand. And then when the hay gets old, I'll just use it for potatoes or something. Grow potatoes under it. You know, that's my plan. All right, guys, signing off. Have a great day. Bye-bye.